starting off with a camcorder filming my friends doing stupid stuff. That was like, let's see what happens.
And long story short, BBC. That's it, and a wrap.
I hope not.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing when it comes to like I'm 74 pages into my first play.
Wow,
and it's
a lot of pages.
It is a lot of pages. Some of those is page breaks. I'm not gonna lie. Every scene ends with like lights, page break. You know, so let's say 10 pages of page breaks in there. So that's even still 64 pages. So I'm just learning about structuring. You know, there's the fictional world that you live in and you have to follow the rules. But then on top of that, you have the layer of I am telling this story, me, writer, director, to you, the audience. So how much, when, and what do I tell you is also very important. So I have to balance the two. And also sometimes, you know, there's things like, well, this story is starting to get a bit boring here, so maybe I need to go into this imaginary world, find a scene that would make sense, that would add some sort of entertaining thing up here. So it's like a...
What's the story?
So the story is vaguely based on my childhood. I was raised by Jehovah's Witnesses. So I know what's it like growing up under like very strict religious and just isolated sort of group. And then I just took that, made up my own cult, made up my own rules, my own prayer, my own gods and everything separately. And just, this is the story of a teenage boy who starts having their first doubts. So it's that of like how you're, you know, it's how when the first thought appears of like, I don't know. Just that.
So around the same time as well, it's like a teenager would start to question their parents more.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it happened. I went from like 14 to 16. I sort of started breaking away mentally. So it's kind of about that. It's how like on the one hand, it's like I want to show what's it like living in that sort of, because it's a very different world and different rules mentally and everything. And then so what's it like, and then what's it like having those thoughts, you know, those the first steps. And then, you know, that can go anywhere after. It can be squashed. It can, you know, become something else. So you become an actor in Scotland, even though you were born in a small town in Romania and all you knew was Jesus. But you know,
what's your dream for that project?
My dream is to make it into a play, and I've got a couple of into a show, and I've got a couple of people that I have in line for like the mum and the dad, who are not based on my parents at all, at all.
Brilliant, man. I wish you all the.
Thanks, man. Hopefully, it's. I've just finished the second act, so now it's the grand finale. And I'm not gonna spoil it now, obviously, but yeah.
Well, you know, writing is rewriting. You finish it, and then you have to go back again, and you have to go back again, and you have to go back again.
Yeah, I'm finding it's. I did maths and IT in high school and programming, and I'm finding it's similar to that. That you start out with this idea of like, I'm gonna solve this problem like this, and then you get to this point, and you're like, right, this is not gonna work. I created a scenario where it's either, you know, a paradox, or this person would not say this in this circumstance. I've already I already showed him doing this or her, you know, it wouldn't make sense for them to do this now. So I'm like, I have to circle back, either change this, or come up with a different ending, or change the character altogether. So yeah, it's that kind of, again, just different layers.
Keep at it, man, and yeah, I'll come see you.
I will let you know. I mean, at some point, I'm gonna need to like. Once it's done, I'm gonna have to table read it, and then that will be the first table read, and then see what makes sense.
Brilliant. What's the for putting on shows like that? Is there a lot of support?
To be honest, I haven't actually looked out there to see, you know, what would be. There must be something for theatre as well. I know there's a play, Pie and a Pint. But those are strictly 45 minutes-ish shows, I think, or 45 pages. Well, it's along those lines. As I said, mine's already at 72, 74.
But you could always like see, take a cog out of the story.
Yeah.
That works by itself as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic of short film becomes long film, but you have to sell the idea first. Yeah, probably. I mean, first and foremost, I want to tell it, have it on page, and then I can start playing around with it. But until it's on the page, I can't do anything else with it. It's in my head.
The hardest part.
Yeah, but it's still entertaining. Just you and an empty page and being like, I'm going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
That that brings up the question: what's kind of your writing process, or is there a writing process, or is
Panic.
that work in progress?
So I'm working on something now that is feature length,
Right.
completely by myself. Like, there's no guarantees that it'll get made, or hopefully I will finish it. But I have set a kind of goal for myself, and it's like, yeah, a completely different beast when you're working with something that's that length. So now I'm doing story outline.
Right.
And the way I'm doing it now is you have like 70 3x5 cards, and you just write the very basic outline for a scene, get all your scene ideas out there, and then you have those 70 scenes, you have a film, then you start to arrange it in place, and then you start to then I will start to piece together who's this scene for, who is this person, get to know the person a bit better, and shape the script from there.
Interesting. Because I did something similar, because I would get stuck with an idea and I'd be like, okay, next few scenes, something like this is going to have to happen, something like this is going to have to happen, something like this is going to have to happen. And then obviously once you start writing it, in the moment, you come up with a solution, and then you build the world, and then, okay, I can reference this in the next one. But yeah, you have to have a vague structure, but not too rigid, because that's the interesting thing with writing.
Can't start linearly. Is like from chapter 1 straight through. For me, would be absolutely impossible. I had, for the story, it's a comedy and it's a drama. So
you don't write chronologically in the story.
For this one, just because I've not properly written something this big before. It's only been like maximum 30 pages I've ever done. That I'm doing. I have all the. It's based on real life and stories I've heard. So I have all these funny scenes, and then some serious scenes as well. And I have an idea of who the characters are, but I'm trying this method of just getting all those scenes out, and all the funny scenes are coming first, interestingly, and then the drama I think is going to come last, and then I'll start to shape it a bit better. But it's more of an exercise to try and get the structure out there before delving in and taking it piece by piece. Because if I'm writing scene by scene, and I know the layout, then I think I'll have the stamina to finish it.
Yeah. No, you got a fair point there, because I had something similar. I was like, why am I doing this scene by scene? Why am I doing this chronologically? Because sometimes you just get put off by the amount of work you got in front of you and got no idea how to go about it in the beginning.
Because if you have a scene and it's like, all right, this scene's 5 pages, and I know what the next scene is, then it's more like piece by piece, where it gives you a bit more energy to
yeah, absolutely. Like, even just mentally, just the demotivational thing goes away, because like, oh, I can always do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fascinating. You do it as a puzzle. Like, I'm going to put that there, maybe that there. That might fit, might not fit. I'm going to have to change that. But yeah, that's...
But I'm in no way, like, well experienced in this. This is the way I'm finding to do it in order to finish it. And then maybe I won't do it again, but
you know what?
It's quite good right now.
Right now, this is the best you've got, and that counts. And if someone's out there going, I'm trying to write a play, maybe they'll go, I try that as well, see what happens, you know?
I think it was a friend that recommended me and I think it's David Lynch that does it as well.
Well, in that case, you're in good company.
Yeah. So 70. If you have like an outline for 70 scenes, then you have a film.
Yeah, 70 scenes. Yeah, okay. I mean, that would...
one scene could be like the guy gets on a bus.
Yeah, okay. Because I was thinking like 70 scenes, if... I was trying like the amount of time you allot to every single scene. Because 70 scenes per minute, that's already 70 minutes. You're like, you got 20 more minutes. That's what I was thinking. But obviously, no, you wouldn't have as you said, some scene would be like 10 seconds.
Yeah, some could be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, I'll just... Yeah, just a lot I'm learning. This sort of interview series has shifted. It started with, it's all about culture, mostly about culture. Now it's becoming more about career and just in-depth about like the industry and processes and techniques. And I kind of like it.
You got to do it to discover it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I kind of go into like every interview like, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Starting off with a camcorder filming my friends doing stupid stuff. That was like, let's see what happens.
And long story short, BBC. That's it. And a wrap.
I hope not.
Oh no, I mean as like
Yeah.
the story so far. You know, like you might be wondering how I ended up here. You know, just.
Still have some of those videos.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that must be gold.
The old Glasgow as well. Yeah, well, one day I'll share.
I'm not gonna take a lot of your time. I'm gonna have a couple more questions. I'm gonna let you go after that.